Good to go.
Okay.
No feedback.
No problems.
Yeah, go ahead.
Call the Oglesby City Council meeting to order.
Augubright,
Here.
Cullinan,
Here.
Curran,
Here.
Mieski. Here. Rivara.
Here. Pledge of Allegiance. Just so everybody's aware, Mr. Augubright is attending the meeting per phone.
Remotely.
Need a motion and second to approve the minutes of the August 3rd, 2020 regular meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the August 3rd, 2020 regular meeting.
Second.
Augubright,
Aye.
Cullinan,
Aye.
Curran,
Aye.
Mieski.
Aye.
Rivara.
Aye. Public comments on agenda items only.
Greg Stein. Hello? Okay, Greg Stein, Oglesby resident. And I know you're gonna talk about these things, and, the mission creep of the city and other cities, I know you're just following suit with what's going on, charging contractors $100 a year. I've got a problem with it, that you're costing contractors, but really they need to take it up with the state legislature, because it's happening everywhere. The canoe landing opening,
I'm sorry, that wasn't an agenda item.
That's
but
not an agenda item.
Do you have the agenda?
yes, I do.
Because that doesn't sound like an agenda item, though.
This is
When we come
agenda
back
item.
later,
Yeah, we have
Yeah.
Yeah.
The reason we do the public comments for any topic after, is so that way we can get through all the business of the meeting first.
all right, I'll just come back later. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. I need a motion to approve bills as presented for payment.
I'll make that motion to approve bills as presented for payment.
I'll second.
Augubright,
Aye.
Cullinan.
Aye.
Curran,
Aye.
Mieski.
Aye.
Rivara.
Aye. Approve 1123-081720, an ordinance authorizing the execution of the memorandum of agreement between the City of Oglesby and the Fraternal Order of Police.
This would be finalizing the side agreement with the union, allowing the police department to go to 12-hour shifts, and then to also hire part-time officers. Are there questions about that piece? If not, I would like to make a motion to approve 1123-081720, an ordinance authorizing the execution of the memorandum of agreement between the City of Oglesby and the Fraternal Order of Police.
Second.
Augubright,
Aye.
Cullinan,
Aye.
Curran,
Aye.
Mieski.
Aye.
Rivara.
Aye. Place on file ordinance 1124-090820, and ordinance amending the ordinance 1024-061818, entitled an ordinance establishing wages for Oglesby service employees.
Okay, when we first tried to talk about this, it was actually for 3 additional people, and incorrectly said that IMRF would not be involved, but actually, anytime there's over 1,000 hours worked, IMRF is part of that. There would be no other benefits for that. After our discussion last Wednesday, we talked about sending forward just 1 person instead of 3, and so that's what's changed from this ordinance, putting it down to 1 additional person. to be able to work over 1,000 hours in the year, and then to help, that would help out with the staffing of the current department. Are there questions about that?
No, I just want to make a comment that I recognize the difficulty with trying to find the best solution for this, and I really do appreciate that we brought up the opportunity to talk it out and look at our options and at least make us aware of the possible complications in the future.
Right,
So,
and I will continue to investigate and put together something a little bit further on in the year regarding the comparison of what our neighbors are doing for ambulance service and what we can and can't do.
thanks.
I
Place
def-
gonna make a motion.
Did I make a motion to place on file ordinance 1124-090820, an ordinance amending ordinance 1024-061818, entitled an ordinance establishing wages for Oglesby Ambulance Service employees?
Second.
Augubright,
Aye.
Cullinan. Curran.
Aye.
Mieski,
Aye.
Rivara.
Aye. Is there anything under old business? Public comments.
Okay, all right, I'm Greg Stein back again. All right, so I did the contractors and 100-year approved list to be working in this city and all the other cities. I think you get what I'm going after there. It's really out of your hands, except for the fact that you're following suit with the other cities. The canoe landing opening, I see that I just went down there, the gate is half open, and I think that's because the gas main people are gonna be heading down the hill behind Lehigh Park. I'm not sure if they have to cross the Vermilion River and go through the old Lone Star Pit and then cross under 71. I know they did some work over there by Jack Mills property, and I think they're gonna meet up there. I don't know exactly for sure, but so I'm thinking that maybe the gate's half open with road closed, only for authorized vehicles, not just everybody. And I totally understand that you have to get the electricity running and the main thoroughfares open for cars so people can get to work. But then I think that you need to concentrate on community facilities like parks and the canoe landing before you start. There is a lot of trees out here, and the longer they sit there, the longer the homeowner may decide to get rid of them somehow themselves, and scrappers are gonna go after the big branches, that there's a number of them out there. You're gonna have to be sifting through the trees, looking for the things that can actually go through the shredder. So I kind of would like you to consider that the canoe landing that has a map of Oglesby and all our businesses and a flyer for people to go to under normal conditions. Those places are open for business. I think you should consider community areas next after main thoroughfares and electricity is restored.
Greg, excuse me, we've been working 24/7 to clear the hazards, to restore service. That is on the list, but it's a little bit down on the priority. Taking
I
care
know
of our
I know
residents
the
is
city
first.
workers and you all have been working hard to get things restored, and I'm thankful for it.
I'll give an update in my reports
There's-
about.
I was still without power out there, so I was lucky. I was out 7 hours, so I'm only, the canoe landing is an asset that I don't want to see it sitting lay, okay? And then as far as, I was kind of floored that we were gonna consider hiring a private service and doing away with our ambulance service. I was floored at that, at the other meeting a week ago, not quite a week ago. And then I see in tonight's minutes that we get issued to us, not the ones you just approved, that in 2 weeks we'll see that there is a police and fire ambulance, or there's a police and fire board still, but the ambulance is not included in it. And I kind of think that putting the ambulance service into the fire board to let use off a little bit of the hook of deciding this major issue, because I'm not exactly sure whether or not this service that LaSalle's using, and I totally get why you are considering it, because they can jump a second or third crew over here from LaSalle if we have a major emergency. I get it.
Correct.
I get it. But also, once they, you know how things are in the private world, once we lose our service, well, then maybe the rates start jumping, because we're on the hook now. Okay, so I want you to.
Okay, thank you, Greg.
And then the electric rates,
Greg?
I just found out that we got 5-ish rates here in town, and I get why it might be too difficult to put it all in the message area. And I do like the concept of the power cost adjustment being in there for us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioners' reports. Do we get Mr. Algebright?
Tommy, do you
I
have?
have nothing to report tonight, Dom.
Thank you.
Thank
Have
you.
a good night. Gary?
It was a busy week last week with derecho. I've never heard that term before, and now it's all I'm seeing and hearing. And it caused quite a bit of damage. The fire department actually had damage to their antennas, and one of their trucks was struck while, with debris that was flying around there. Leaves, or not leaves, a branch. And they had 24 calls Monday in a 12-hour period, which is more than they have any month so far. Normally they have 12, 13 calls per month. They had 24 calls just in that 12-hour period. So they were very busy, as were the ambulance with their 10 calls that day, the same day. I appreciate Greg's comments regarding LaSalle and possibilities or potentials for us. I will continue to look at that and analyze it. I'm going to utilize our current ambulance director, Kathy Edens, to help looking at these places, at these businesses, to see how Peru does it differently, how LaSalle does it differently, and we'll go from there. But she'll have some good ideas on how to question things. As far as the ambulance board, I remember that Commissioner Porter at the time did dissolve it, and that's probably been 3-4 years ago. I'm not really sure of the reason for the dissolution of it, but it is on my radar as well. Police department, they've just finished a police evidence and property audit for their evidence that they take in. It was completed by an outside consultant, and they ended up having some very good compliance with the standards. There are a few recommendations that were made. However, there was some praise for Sergeant Valley, and his assessment and implementing a nice job was done overall. Looking at some part-time police officers to fill the bill in between our regular rescheduled officers would be John Atkins, who is currently a detective in the police department. Bradley Anderson, he too is currently within the Peru Police Department. I think he works on our ambulance too. So it'll be nice to have him here. Matthew Kleinfelter, unrelated to John Kleinfelter that just left. Matt is from the LaSalle Police Department. Ray Gatza is from LaSalle Police Department, your neighbor, right?
Next door.
Tyler Slimko is with the LaSalle Police Department, and Nick Burnell is with the LaSalle Police Department. So that's what I have.
Okay, thank you, Carrie. Jason?
All right, thank you. Okay, so Big thing, obviously, the derecho that came through a week ago today. So as of 2.5 hours ago, we still had 8 homes that did not have power. Now, those 8 homes, though, are awaiting either some type of electrical contractor or electrician to come and repair something before we can legally and safely hook the power back up. So I am ecstatically pleased at not only just the workforce in Oglesby to be able to put it together, we've gotten help from Sullivan, Altamont, Flora, Highland. We've had multiple crews in here to get it up that fast. So I recognize, even though I think I put it out before, within 4 hours, we had about 20% of the city up, 8 hours, 50%, 12 hours, 90%, about 28-ish hours was 95%. And then the thing is, as more and more time goes by, it becomes harder and harder to get the last remaining individuals because there's just so much damage that occurred. So even though I'm very happy with that, and I think most residents are happy with the restoration efforts, I recognize that if you're one of the people that took longer, or you're one of the ones that are still not without power, I understand you might not feel that way. We are doing everything we can. I'm still pleased of how we've been able to get so many people back up in such a short amount of time. Now, that being said, just because we have 99.5% of all residential homes back on power, that doesn't mean that the infrastructure is back solid again. There is still a lot of damaged poles, bent poles, downed items. There's a lot of loops that we would normally have that would give redundancy that are gone right now, because our ultimate focus was just to get the residents back. So there is still an incredible amount of stuff that we have to work on and get going. Why do I say that? There's been a lot of calls. I even had a couple of angry residents call me because no one's coming to take care of a limb that's bent on a branch and it's about to fall. You know, we're still taking things off of power lines yet. There's only so much workforce to go around. And this is with having 4 other crews from other municipalities in addition to us here. It's just that much damage. I don't know if people really recognize that. As far as streets going, there is an incredible amount of debris that is out there. There is so much debris. As of today, we did have another chipping crew from Grundy County come in. I have another one from LaSalle County coming in sometime this week. I don't have an exact date yet, but we will have some more chipping crews, so it should get done a little faster than it's been happening. I understand if somebody's upset that the parks or Canoe Land or wherever is not. Right now, the biggest thing is trying to make the residents' lives better and opening everything we can up. So we don't have a necessary plan of who gets what first or something. They're just going through the streets, and if they're on the berms, they're taking it. That's really all I have, so please be patient. I know the office here at City Hall is constantly getting a lot of calls about somebody come get my stuff or whatever. You know, everybody is working. There's an incredible amount of work. We will get it all done, and that's really all I have. The last one thing, yes, so I heard that people are pretty happy with the new sound and video system that was done by 5 Star Audio out of Naperville. I'm relatively pleased with it, and hopefully it will continue to serve us for years to come. That's all I got.
Tully?
Nothing tonight, Don.
Okay. The storm of August 14th was the worst storm that the residents of Oglesby has had to deal with in more years than anyone can remember. The way our community came together, neighbor helping neighbor, was an example of what we can achieve when we are working all together. The one positive thing that came out of the storm was that no one was injured. I want to thank the residents who helped and all who helped, the city employees, the workers who came from Sullivan, Altamont, Flora, and Highland. Without these crews, we would still be working to restore service. Everyone who helped, assisted a neighbor, worker with food, a cold drink, or anything else, made the job easier, and we thank them. It will take us time to pick up the odds and ends. Please, and I emphasize this, please call City Hall and let us know where we have a hazard or unsafe condition if you need your electric service reconnected. By calling the people in the field, you set back the restoration time, approximately a half a day. The city has brought in chipping crews, as Jason has said, from Grundy, and LaSalle County will send us one later in the week. We will do due diligence and critique the storm once we have everybody back on and have surveyed what we have to do with our electric grid. And we ask your patience. I do want to mention a couple things. GTI variance, that open meeting is September 2nd at 6:30. I've had a number of complaints and questions about the food truck down at, next to the car wash. So, Mr. Angione, can you explain where we're at with that?
The Oglesby ordinance allows for food trucks. And as near as we can tell, this truck has met, all the requirements that we have in the city code. Now, the council certainly, if they don't want to allow food trucks or want to place a limitation on the number of the food trucks, or if you want to, make sure that somebody can't park a food truck in front of a brick and mortar business that may be selling food, you can do that, but we got to change the ordinance. The way the ordinance is written right now, that food truck, from my discussions with the clerk's office today, is legal. Again, we can change it. If the consensus of the council is that that's not what you want to encourage, we can certainly put into place restrictions. But right now, we don't have those restrictions. So I think it's something that, in the future, if you think if it appears that it's a problem or could be a problem, we're gonna have to revisit it, and we'll have to edit the ordinance.
Yeah, earlier this year, that we had a basic request to have 4 food trucks come in, and they were looking to put on some kind of an event. We had said no, because it would basically put them in competition with our brick and mortar establishment that sell food. The last thing I had is a little bit disturbing. We have this food pantry out here that helps a lot of people in need. Unfortunately, and I say this unfortunately, we had it vandalized. That's unacceptable behavior, and I'm gonna ask the residents to be vigilant, to help us out, but we will not tolerate that type of behavior. That's all I got. I need a motion and second to adjourn.
I'm just wondering, is that a public comment that Amy took?
Well, it was.
Oh.
Do it. I told them it's past
Okay.
public comment.
Yeah, it's
so-
well past.
Okay.
Is it, do we miss it, or?
Well, it was Drew calling in to tell you the difference between the food truck and a trailer.
Oh,
He said
okay.
the public comment portion is.
So his
done.
comment was something that was about the mayor's report.
Yeah.
So it's well past the public comment time. Okay.
I'm gonna call him back after the meeting and give him some further
The
explanation.
complaint I heard about the food truck is that the people are not wearing masks. And, right now, Pritzker has pretty much mandated we're all wearing masks, and the first time you don't, it's a education, and the next time it's a fine or written warning, and then the third time it's a monetary fine. So,
I think our ordinance does have a provision in there that you have to comply with the LaSalle County, Health Department requirements. I kind of went through it this morning when Dom called me. Dom, Amy, and I were on a conference call trying to go through it. I didn't, it's in the code book. I think it's lumped together with, it's under business regulations. It's lumped together in the chapter dealing with, I think, peddlers and itinerant merchants and stuff like that. But they have a definition, and food trucks are in there. And then they do have provisions, for sanitation and things like that. So you can look at that section of the, of the code if anybody has any questions. But it can certainly be limited. We just have to do something. We we can't just say, no, you can't do it if we've got an ordinance that, you know.
So are you
that
saying
allows it.
they have the same restrictions that any brick and mortar building would have in Oglesby as well to provide? If they have to require masks, the same with the food truck, is that
Yeah,
kind of?
I certainly think they should.
Okay.
We should make sure that we don't in no way, are we harming our brick and mortar, businesses. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Augubright.
Aye.
Cullinan. Curran.
Aye.
Mieski.
Aye.
Rivara.
Aye.
Thanks, Tom.
All right, see it. Bye.